Everybody is talking about ChatGPT, and so should we. Why is it so impressive? There are really two things about it. One is what it can do today. It can generate a text on pretty much anything. You can ask it to write an essay for you, and it will come up with something that is surprisingly good. Possibly better than what you would come up with, but definitely faster and cheaper. So if you need, for example, a product description for your new product, some text for your website, ChatGPT can generate something that looks good, sounds good in no time and no cost. The other thing is it shows the direction and speed artificial intelligence is taking now. Just a few years ago, artificial intelligence did not really contribute any value to our lives. It was more a buzzword you could use to impress venture capitalists, for example. But there was no solid everyday application across the board. But now ChatGPT is showing us the direction in which automation is going, and that is not replacing or automating low-level manual labor as we thought before, but really automating the white-collar jobs or the lower-end professional jobs. Content creation, if you need to translate a technical user manual, for example, your job will be gone in a few years. So chances are, if you are working in a content creator role or anything similar, you either learn to use ChatGPT, work with it, make it work for you, or you will be driving a taxi because Tesla is not getting any progress on that. So what does ChatGPT mean for software developers in 2023? When you look at the website, it can do a couple of things for software developers, like translating JavaScript code to a Python program. It can generate little programs, algorithms for you, and that really shows the direction. It can take over simple tasks for you as a developer, and it will even find errors in your code. If you as a developer don't learn to use ChatGPT to boost your productivity, you will be left behind. On the other hand, the new capabilities are up for grab, and if you're the first to make use of it, there are lots of opportunities open for you. So is it a threat or an opportunity? It's totally up to you. This video is a start of a short series where I will build an app in Flutter that uses ChatGPT in the back end to generate content and show that. So from end to end, I will show the design, the architecture of that application, and then across a series of videos, implement the individual parts of that so it really works end to end in a mobile app. And since I will be using Flutter, that means it will be working on iOS mobile devices as well as Android or desktop from macOS to Windows. In the next video, I will do the user interface design in Figma. Then I will do the implementation afterwards in Flutter. And then I will build the backend that uses ChatGPT. But first, let's have a look at ChatGPT. What does it do today? What does it offer? And what will the app do that I will build in this little series of videos? So in openai.com, you get access to ChatGPT. There's a try it out button where you can chat with it. So you log in and then you can find some examples or just start a new chat and have a conversation with the AI. So at the prompt, you just can ask any query. It's similar to Google, but a lot better. So this is the feature that impresses a lot of people. You can, instead of asking Google, where can I find information on a certain topic, you can actually ask it to write an essay. If you want a shorter essay, you just say it. If you want something slightly different, say it. It will generate something else. And this is quite impressive, and people can use it to write their homework or whatever they need. Now, the user interface on the web is one way to interact with ChatGPT, But there's also an API, and that's what we're going to use in this series. Apart from text, there's another functionality it offers, and that is with DALL-E. You can ask the AI to generate images, or you can upload images and make modifications. So let's say you have a picture of the sky and you have an airplane, you want that airplane go away. You can do that in Photoshop, or you can ask ChatGPT to just remove it or add more, whatever you want, right? If you want a flying unicorn in the sky, the AI can do that. Let's look at the pricing. For me, that's also always an important topic. How can I use it in a cost-efficient way? So when it comes to image models, it comes down to 2 cents per image. So that means it's, 2 cents seems affordable, but at scale that becomes relevant. So if you have an app that is free, 1,000 people use it every day, that can be significant money, and you might not be able to afford that. So 2 cents is at scale too much to give it away for free. So we also need to have a look at a business model that makes it work. And then of course the language models that are a lot more affordable, what we just had a look at. And these are charged on a token basis, and the tokens are fairly cheap, and a token can get you like 1 page of text or something like that. So in my app, I want to use the image functionality. So you can take a picture with your mobile phone, upload it to the ChatGPT, and get a response from the AI. And for that, I will need some kind of billing model that charges it all the way to the end user. Let's have a closer look at what the AI does to images. There are 3 functions basically. You can write in text and ask the AI to generate a picture that fits to your description. So for example, here an armchair in the shape of an avocado, or whatever you can come up with. I'm not a huge fan of working with text, typing a lot of text on a mobile phone. I like the camera function. So what I want to do is the upload an image function, and then the AI can generate variants. You can use text to request some modifications, or you can ask it to generate a couple of image variants of your picture. So I prepared a couple of examples how, based on a certain input, what kind of output the AI can generate. And in the end, I will build an app that makes this more usable, a better user interface, user experience around this functionality. For example, I uploaded this food picture and asked the AI to generate a couple of variants. And this is one of the things I got back. Or this one. Or this one. So very similar, but not the same. I uploaded this picture of an arch of a chapel, and this is one of the things I got back. Or this one, or this one. This is a selfie that I made on some bridge, and these are the responses I got back from the AI. Not quite sure what to think about that, but it's going to be a fun experience to basically take pictures in the real world and see what kind of surreal stuff the AI comes up with. So let's have a look at the architecture of the application end to end. At the bottom, you see the mobile client that I will build with Flutter for mobile devices or desktop applications. Then at the top, we have the ChatGPT API service that we can call via a REST API call. So it's a HTTP POST method that we can send to transfer a picture, for example. It must be a square picture in a PNG format. And then we get as a response a couple of variations of that picture. Now, As you see, I will build a backend in between. I will not call the ChatGPT API directly from the mobile client. I need to implement restrictions on calling the API because you need an API key and it costs money. So either I ask every individual end user to sign up, or I use an API key for the application in general, and then I need my own billing mechanism to allocate the cost to the individual end user. So I chose the latter. That means I need a backend where you need to log in, possibly be charged for the calls you're making for the usage of the app. So ideally, I will offer like a freemium model. A couple of calls are free, but if you want to use it extensively, you have to pay for that. You see a lot of complexity is in the backend. That gives me also a lot of control over the functionality of the app, over calling the API of ChatGPT, which I would not have if everything is distributed across multiple platforms and devices I have no control over. I will build the backend in AWS, as I always do. And here I show a couple of components that the backend will need. At the bottom, of course, a REST API gateway that I use to make the backend available to the mobile clients. And then top left, you see Cognito and identity providers. That can be Facebook, that can be Google, Apple. So you can log in with your Google account, for example. Lambda is the functionality of the backend that ties together all the components of it, gets called by the API gateway, and also passes on the call to the ChatGPT after checking with Cognito that the user is logged in and all that. Can handle all the billing information. For that, I can use DynamoDB, users, billing, the limits. Let's assume, for example, you can do 20 calls a month, but if you want more, then you need to pay up for that. S3 is a storage container unit. So for pictures, I would not store that in a database, but in a S3 container. And that I can also make available to ChatGPT. So for example, I can receive the picture from the client, put it in the S3 storage, and then on the request to ChatGPT, I can just give the URL to that picture and ChatGPT can get it from that S3 bucket directly. So these are the components of the application altogether. In the next video, I will do the screen design. Then afterwards, I will design the mobile client, implement the mobile client, but let it run against a static dummy backend that just receives the call and returns the same picture all the time. And after that, I will build the backend that takes on the request, calls ChatGPT, manages all the login stuff, and returns an individual picture every single time. So if you want to see how these individual components are built, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below which part of it you would like to understand in more detail.